looks like we're almost there. There we go. I
Okay,
think we're live, Justin.
perfect. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. It's Justin from Apollo, myself from Home Assistant, Simon says Home Assistant. And yeah, welcome, Justin. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having us again, Simon. I feel like I think Trevor was on a few months ago or like this past summer. Time is definitely flying by. It is absolutely wild. I can't believe CES is come and gone. Um, next thing we know, we'll be at IFA in September, in Berlin. So, I can imagine you guys are, uh, having a lot of fun down there and time's flying by as well.
Oh, it's going crazy, Justin. I'll tell you, it's like I can't believe that I was on leave for almost 3 weeks. And yeah, the time just flew by. It
Yep.
was crazy. I spent a lot of time making videos and doing stuff on YouTube. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah. No, it's great. And you were saying you're getting some snow there for the first time in
Oh,
ages.
well, yeah. So we get snow, but this is like a historic snowstorm that's coming to Kentucky, and actually like the whole area from Texas all the way up to like Maine. We're expecting around like 1 to 1.5 feet of snow, which typically we'll get a couple inches here and there. So this is like a historic storm. There's also going to be ice, unfortunately, and like sleet. So ice is really kind of like worse because it will, the weight will bring down power lines and just wreak havoc, especially for vehicles and stuff. But yeah, so everybody's kind of, getting all their milk and bread and getting all their provisions ready. So we'll see. It's supposed to start early tomorrow, Saturday morning, I believe. We even had to make a post because if we don't have power and we can't get to the workshop, then we won't be able to like build or ship or fulfill orders. So there may be a slight delay. Sorry about that, but hopefully by like mid next week we'll be able to get back into the workshop, and that's if it snows. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the weathermen, sometimes they're wrong, so which is fine. But
Hmm.
so we'll see. Yeah, so no snow where you guys are, right? Nothing.
No snow here. No, I think over the 20 years I've lived in Auckland, we might have had, a few flakes one year in the middle of winter zone, but no, no, it wouldn't be common for snow at all, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us, Justin, you guys have just come back from, well, a week or two ago, back from CES. We did you actually have a stand this year?
So yeah, we were talking with like Home Assistant and like OHF about having a stand, but and then we were looking at maybe doing one on our own. But we decided against it this year. And I think for sure next year we'll plan on exhibiting. It's quite a bit expensive. It actually was cheaper for us to fly to Europe to Berlin and exhibit at IFA, which is like the CES of
Really?
Europe. It was cheaper for us to fly there and like exhibit than it is just for booth space at CES.
Oh, wow.
But so CES, I mean, obviously everybody's there. Not only, it's industry attendees, but there's tons of media and tons of partners, business partners and stuff. So it's definitely worth it. We just didn't have as much planning that we, could have had. So we just decided to go see it again and hang out with, all of our friends and partners. But I can go into more, if you have another question, I can go into more detail about CES, like what we saw
Yeah,
or,
please tell us some of the
okay,
interesting
yeah.
stuff you saw there.
Yeah. So of course, the big things that were AI. Everybody's
Yeah.
putting AI into everything from, I'm sure you saw there's like AI candy to, AI self-driving, cars and planes. There's AI in like dryers and air fryers. And so there's a lot of that, similar to last year. But again, we were kind of talking about this before. There are a ton of robot vacuums and robot lawnmowers. Robot lawnmowers seem to be one of the big, uh, I guess, one of the big tech pieces that's to be coming out this year. And you said you're actually reviewing one right now?
I am, yes. I picked one up just over a week ago. It's a Mammotion Luba 2. I think it's the X model. It's the one with the four-wheel drive.
Okay.
And yeah, I've just set that up in my garden and I've started getting it. It's supposed to do auto mapping, but I've found that the
Okay.
auto mapping, I think it leaves a bit to be desired yet. It didn't quite map the section of grass that I had. So I
Okay.
ended up by doing the driving it around system, which is pretty quick. It was
Yeah.
super easy to connect it up, super easy to map the area. What I'm busy trialing at the moment, I've got some quite interesting different grass types in my garden, and it definitely struggled a little bit with the one had this super thick kikuyu grass,
Okay.
and what was sort of happening was the wheels were sort of sinking down into the grass. So what I've done now is I've taken my normal lawnmower and I've sort of scarified that grass. I've cut it down really low, and now
Okay.
it seems to be way better. So it's obviously a learning curve. I also had to work out how you've got to map each area specifically, and then you've got to have like a little bridge between each area. So I've
Yeah.
got that all sorted. So no, it's lots of fun. Really hoping it'll come. Someone will develop an integration into Home Assistant soon,
Yeah.
so that we can see what. But you were saying you're looking at one with lidar.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the plan. Like that's the hope. One that doesn't require any of the RTK type styles. Something that you can just kind of set out there and it will, like you said, kind of automatically map and will just kind of set it and forget it. So I was looking at the goat last year, but I waited for CES to see what would come out. And so there were some really cool ones. And some we saw one that was about as big as a riding lawnmower, and it would do about 18 acres, 18
Man.
acres, which was
Oh,
wild. And then of course a lot of them have attachments for mulching, for weed eating, for like just some just had like trailer attachments to just move stuff around. Like so it was very crazy to see. And of course, at CES they go all out with these booths. So they have lawns set up and they have hills and like the all-wheel drive that you were talking about on the Motion. Like so they're showcasing that like you don't have to because sometimes little curbs or like little things like hills would stop other ones. So they were trying to showcase all those. I'm sure you saw the robot vacuums that have like a little
yeah.
arm that come out and pick up socks and stuff and move them out of the way. I think they have similar stuff now for lawnmowers as well. To if kids leave something in, or dog leaves something in the yard, it will move it out. But um, there was also wearables, so like AR glasses, augmented reality. I'm
Mhm.
sure you've seen like the Meta glasses.
Yeah.
There's some really cool ones called Even Reality, and
Mhm.
they're called this is a newer version. It's called the G2, and they have a ring. It's neat because they look like normal glasses. There's a small like touchpad kind of that's very minimal that sits behind your ears. So it really looks like you're not wearing anything because that's the problem with like the Metas and other ones. They're just a little bit thick. You can kind of tell that someone is like wearing them. It's nice too because there's no camera. So you don't have to worry about privacy or people getting upset that you're recording them with your glasses. And it's really nice because you can't see the screen and it uses like an OLED um, um, display, which is really nice. It's like a terminal display and it has AI built in. Yeah, you definitely check them out. Even Reality G2, that was like probably one of the cooler things that we saw that we actually like. I think Trevor may have bought some, so we're excited. Hopefully, he'll buy them, and then if we like them, we'll probably all buy them. But it was that was cool to see. But looks like you got a question down there?
No, 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 that's not a question. I was just
Oh,
trying out this
okay,
banner thing. So this is a new
okay,
system that I'm doing at the moment, and I was
okay,
just testing the little banner. That's not a question from someone.
okay.
It's just me creating a banner, just talking about DIY ESP home projects.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could kind of move on to that because we've had some big news at Apollo
Yeah,
last
please
year
tell
in
us about it.
December. Yeah. So this is mid-December. The Open Home Foundation announced that we were going to be their second commercial partner. Kind of like Nabu Casa makes official hardware for Home Assistant. They make the Home Assistant Green and they make the new ZBT2, which is a Thread and Zigbee Matter antenna. They make the ZWA2, which is a Z-Wave antenna. So we'll be making, so Navalcosta does that for Home Assistant. And essentially, we are going to be the stewards of ESP Home. So we're going to be making official hardware with Open Home Foundation, and we're going to be making ESP Home devices with them, and just kind of growing the brand and just showing people the power of those little ESP chips and how you can, you've seen it with our products. We have everything from air quality to soil moisture sensors to, fun WLED, like, lights, LED controllers. It's really amazing the power that you have with those little devices. So, yeah, really excited, very humbling, just outside of Navalcosta were the first ones. So it's kind of really cool to even be offered like that partnership and we should hopefully be releasing the first product maybe this year, maybe beginning. We'll see here in the next few months. Um, but we actually are kind of talking about the product that we're making on our Discord. So if you want to go help us out, kind of help with the development. And like we've always done with our sensors, we take community feedback and make what people actually want. So if you can go to the Apollo Automation Discord and you can kind of help actually with the development of what we're making. But yeah, really cool product, really cool project as well. And then of course, some of the profit will go to the Open Home Foundation to continue funding Home Assistant, ESP Home, and Music Assistant. So that's one of the cool things as well.
That is super cool, Justin. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just saying a big welcome to Mr. Super Sidewinder. He's a a real regular at my live
Yeah.
stream, so welcome on board.
How's it going? I like his dogs.
Yeah,
Couple of
pretty
dogs there,
cool,
yeah.
eh? Yeah, he's a dog man, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great to have you here, Super. Please fire away any questions. We've got Justin
Hmm.
here from Apollo today, so it's fantastic. Obviously, they've just been announced as the official hardware partner for ESP Home, which is I'm just blown away because you
Yeah.
guys have put in so much effort, haven't you, over the years
Yeah.
in developing all your products and working so closely. So tell us some more about how that actually developed, how you actually got into that position.
Yeah. Well, Simon, you've been with us since the beginning. I mean,
Mm.
I think we reached out to you. It was probably like 2023, like right after we first started. So,
Yeah.
I found your channel. I was like, let's, send some devices out, get some reviews. And, we were still in our basement and it's been, what, 2.5 years now. And here we are. We finally have like our own building. And the devices we were making, they use the ESP32. So right away we were like, we wanted the made for ESP Home badge. So we, made sure the devices were super simple, super easy to get into Home Assistant. And so we worked closely with the ESP Home team. We got to know Jesse and Keith, and like, Paulus and Frank eventually. And yeah, we were members of the community and we kind of grew out of the community. So we obviously were treating our community how we would want to be treated, like the golden rule. And like I said, we wanted to make certified, like made for ESPN devices, and we were the first Works with Home Assistant partner to have ESP Home devices or like bring ESP Home devices into that program, which is cool. So the first certified ESP Home devices were our devices, which is cool. So I think just having that relationship with not only the community but with the ESP Home developers and the OHF team, I think they just really, we talked with them a lot at CES last year, and we were talking to Paulus, and he was like, they were working on the voice preview edition, and he's like, yeah, I'm staying till like 3 a.m. And we're just like, what? Like, what do you like, Paulus? Like, you're the president. Like, what are you doing? Like, lay down. Like, go on a trip. And he's like, no, no. Like, he's still in the trenches. He's still
Yeah.
working. So, but just that passion that he saw, and I think we just really resonated with that, and just I think hopefully that helped. I'm sure it did, just because like Trevor and I were like, man, like we're kind of doing the same thing, like built this company, basically thank you to because of Home Assistant, and so I think hopefully that helped us, and that's what kind of like got us maybe the nomination of just kind of being already kind of being stewards of ESP Home and already promoting it and you know just being hopefully good members of the community. So yeah, I think that's kind of, long, short of it, but yes, I think that's kind of,
Awesome.
yeah.
So, so he's telling us these are called feists. Is that feasts or feists? Squirrel
Oh
dog.
yeah.
You heard of that?
I've heard of, so we have like rat terriers. We have like ratting dogs I've
Yeah.
heard of, but I haven't heard of squirrel dogs.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he also in New Zealand or
Canberra.
Australia, or is he?
Just remind me where you're from, Super. I think he's from Britain,
Oh, okay.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, they're big about their like beagles and their fox
or it
fox
might be
hunting and
Europe.
stuff there.
I'm going to get
Yeah, it could
myself
be
in
Europe.
trouble here.
Yeah, that's all right. Close enough. He doesn't have any Apollo products yet. Oh
Can
man,
you believe it?
dang. Like I was saying, we've got tons of stuff. Air quality. We make our first sensor was a millimeter wave sensor. We make, like I said, we have a pump so to like automatically water your plants for you. If your soil moisture sensor that we make tells you that your plant's dry. Of course, we have the matrix panel. We have some fun LED stuff. Looks like he says
First
his
two
first ESP.
ESP32
Okay,
are PE and Chili Mini Gen 4.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's lots of ESP devices out there. I get some more. We wherever you are, we have we ship and fulfill. We from Kentucky. Oh, he's in Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh,
You see how
okay.
wrong I got it.
There you go. Yeah, he's pretty close to us. We're in Kentucky. We're just a couple states down. I was just up in Traverse City not so long ago, actually. A great little spot in Michigan, on one of the Great Lakes. But yeah, we're right here. We do all the design, engineering. We do all the final assembly, everything in house. The only thing that we can't make is the PCB, but we do everything else in house. Um, Trying to do it all here, so we have control over the quality. Our names on it, so we want to make sure that we're putting out good products. And but yeah, we're right here. We'll get you something. Just send me a message or send connect with Simon, and we'll get you something out there. Yeah, Michigan's not far at all.
Now, tell me some of the challenges that you've had, obviously, over the years with ESP Home and with developing these devices.
Yeah, yeah. So ESP Home, I mean, there haven't really been too many challenges. It's been very like easy, like I said, and they're very powerful thanks to the work of like Jesse and Keith and B Draco and all those guys, Paulus. There have been occasionally there've been like updates where they're just kind of fixing how ESP works, or they're just kind of they've updated some things or like went from the Arduino to like the ESP IDF framework. So there's been like little things like that we've had to update in our YAML to then make sure the sensors continue working, because we have got a few updates before we kind of learned what to do. Um, like we had some updates that would make the devices go offline, but you can actually set up actions in GitHub that will test your YAML and will test and make sure that it's not going to break or fail. So we have tests set up now for a while now that will test like the new releases against our YAML and see if we need to fix anything. Because at first, you heard our story where we started in our basement. We were just frustrated with the sensors that were on the market, and we just kind of wanted to make something for ourselves. So we made it, we posted about it, and we joked. We're like, yeah, we'll sell, a couple hundred, and we'll cover the R&D costs, and then maybe we'll buy a boat. Like, look, okay, that would be cool. But we still have a boat, and it's like 2.5 years later. So we're really hoping Trevor buys one this summer. Really hoping. So, yeah. So it's back then when you only have a couple thousand sensors out in the world, you're not as scared to make an update. But when you've got a lot more out there, when you push an update and you break something on accident, then you're going to have a lot more, uh, complications or upset community or upset customers. But yeah, not too many challenges really. I mean, it's been, um, like I said, besides like updates, and these are like the updates that the team's making are like quality of life updates, or they're like looking into the future and saying this we need to change this so that it can continue to grow or it can last. So, but yeah, I'd say that's kind of the biggest challenges with ESP Home is just it's growing and we're still kind of early, I feel like. And again, hopefully we can be good stewards and continue to grow it and make it like a household name like Arduino, uh, like those like the getting started like electronic kits and that sort of thing. Like especially now that they got bought by Qualcomm.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, I
think
saw that. Eh?
yeah, I think Qualcomm then said too, like anything you make with Arduino or share is like their property. So it's like it kind of feels, I don't know, kind of feels like ESPN was almost like the phoenix coming out of the, like coming out of the ashes and rising up, and now it's going to be the, the main, like tinkerer, like sensor, like electronic building kit. So that's what we're hoping for. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just an amazing platform, mate. I just recently built an airflow monitoring system.
yeah,
So I found a SparkFun sensor, and I hooked that up to ESP32. Found the code in ESP Home, and man,
yep,
just amazing, eh? And then
yep,
I've got a mate actually a retired plastics engineer because I'm useless at designing like cases and that sort of stuff. So he
yeah,
actually designed a super cool case that would actually fit into the side of the airflow tube where the air flows through, and just amazing, eh? What you
yep,
can do with ESP Home, and
yep.
you guys have just brought it out so that people don't have to go through all that hassle. They can just buy those sensors and away they go.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
tell me, Justin, they can actually go and modify those sensors. Your sensors are actually quite expendable, aren't they? So
Yeah,
you
they
can
are.
add on other devices.
Yeah, so that was one of our big things. Again, we were already members of this community, grew up in the community. The decisions and design decisions that we're making are based on like what we would want to see. And so like e-waste is kind of a big thing. So we wanted to make sure that our devices were modular and that you could buy it also helps with price too. It's like you can buy the base module or base sensor, and then you can add CO2. You can add different power, like USB-C female or male connectors to it. You can add GPIO headers to it to then add more sensors to our multi-sensors. But that was really important for us to make it modular. And you know how easy it is. We use like a little mezzanine port that's just basically like Legos and just clicks in. And then now you have CO2, temperature, humidity, or you have a GPIO header that lets you, add anything you want basically to the sensor. So yeah, that was very important to us in making it modular and uh, making sure we weren't putting out products that were going to be like e-waste or oh you have to buy you know the max version. Like you can tinker, you can buy the base version and tinker if you want to.
Now you'll see there's a question there about Zigbee.
Yep, yep. So I have a good answer finally. So we just released our button one, the little the macro
Yep,
deck. You had a video
awesome.
that came out. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just sometimes you don't want to pull out your phone or it's like late at night and or you're waking up, and it has four physical buttons on it. There's a single, double, triple, and a hold function. So you can do like 16 actions with it. And we have a cool blueprint that you can go through. It easily lets you select what you want to trigger with each button press. And it has a C6 in it, which is awesome because not only can it do Wi-Fi, but it could do Zigbee and it could do Thread. So you could do like Matter over Thread. And for the first time, we have a Zigbee firmware for one of our devices. It's for the button one. It's not a fully launched yet. It's still in like beta testing. So if you want to actually test out our Zigbee on the button one, you can. You just go to all of our code is open source. So you can go to our GitHub and you can just download and flash the YAML file to it. And I got to tell you, Simon, that this might come to us, as a surprise, but I don't have any Zigbee devices at all. None. I have all Wi-Fi, PoE, and Z-Wave. So, but now I see like the beauty of Zigbee. With Wi-Fi, our button one gets close to right now with like sleep, it easily gets close to a year with like 4 presses a day. And the battery life that we're seeing with Zigbee is like absolutely incredible. The response time is incredible because the battery version takes on Wi-Fi, it takes about 10 seconds for it to actually wake up, connect to Wi-Fi, and then do the function. We have a hardwired one that's always connected that is instant. But the Zigbee version we've noticed is about maybe it only takes maybe half the time to like wake up and do the same function. And the battery life is much better. So we're very excited for Zigbee. And when we were at IFA in Berlin last year, Germany, I was really surprised to hear this. You may know, but Germany has more Home Assistant installs than the entire United States does, which is
Isn't that
absolutely
crazy?
wild. And they all love Zigbee. So we're like, dang, like, okay, we got to start making Zigbee stuff. And we have a future product survey that helps lead our R&D that you can take. We please take it. It lets us know what the community wants us to make, and Zigbee has been overwhelmingly the number one requested protocol that people want us to start making. So, but we can finally say that we do have Zigbee working on one of our sensors, and so really excited to get that out. I'm going to do some more testing. Hopefully, maybe we'll get snowed in, and I'll hyper focus on getting Zigbee out for the button one because it is actually really cool. And so I'm excited to get more Zigbee devices because I have the ZBT2, the new Home Assistant antenna, running Thread, and then I have one for Zigbee as well. So I think you picked up a ZWA2 and a ZBT2 as well, right?
I did. Thank goodness you
Yeah.
guys picked up that I'd ordered two of the same, and
Yeah.
you actually worked out I actually wanted two different
Yeah.
sensors. So,
Yep.
yep, now I've got them both, and yeah, ZBT2 I'm currently running as a Matter over 3 device, and yep, it's absolutely flawless. The only thing where I messed it up was I moved it over to another new Home Assistant instance just to do a
Oh,
video on the setup,
okay.
and then I moved it back to my original one, and then didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They have some pretty good documentation on moving it because there's Zigbee to MQTT and I'm blanking on the other, like the main one. Uh,
ZHA.
Yeah, ZHA, yeah, yeah. So they have documentation on like moving to and from those because I think at first it was kind of cumbersome for Zigbee to MQTT, but they've been doing great work over there with their like wiki and documentation and making it easy for people to you know move it. And I'm sure you saw that a lot of people were wanting it to have PoE so that they
Yes.
could put it you could put it around your house. It didn't have to be connected directly to wherever you're hosting Home Assistant. And then Keith from ESP Home came out with a yeah, he knows ZHA. Yep. Uh, but Keith from ESP Home made a really cool wiki article on how to add PoE or how to add like PoE capability to it, and it's almost just as fast, which is awesome. So it does have that capability. It just requires like an extra little dev board you plug in. But yeah, it's just really cool. The products that they're coming out with, the Open Home Foundation and Nabu Casa, it's just really cool to see the products they're coming out with and just really making it easier for more and more people to get into Home Assistant. Because when we first started, there was around 300,000 people maybe, and last
Really?
year at CES last year,
Mm.
and I think at the State of the Open Home address, they said that they had around 2 million people, and that's just the people that opt in. So there's a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people in this community are very private. They don't really typically opt into data and stuff, and so that's just the people. Last year was 2 million, so I'm guessing it's got to probably doubled if not more. But it's just really exciting to see the growth. And like I said, you've been there since the beginning. You've seen it
Yeah,
too. I
just
can't
about.
imagine. Yeah,
I think I installed it first probably about 4.5 or 5 years ago. So not quite the beginning, but certainly early days compared to what it is now. And
yeah.
what I'm just amazed about, I installed it on a mini PC about a year ago. And since I've upgraded, I haven't had one failure with my system. And I'm on
Yep.
beta, so I'm downloading the absolute fresh software,
Yep.
and I've not had one failure.
Yeah, I think we talked briefly. Same here. I run Proxmox.
Hmm?
I just spun up a little VM in Proxmox, and I'm running on a little Lenovo like M900, mini PC, and it's perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
because you can also run other things on it. You can run like a Pi-hole, like an ad blocker for your network. You can do. I've been doing some testing with MQTT as well, and you can easily spin up an MQTT broker, if you don't want to, because I was doing some work outside of Home Assistant. So, but yeah, it's just amazing what you can do. Uh, but
You you won't believe it, but I've actually installed it on Proxmox as well.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah, there was
That's the way
a real
that's
learning curve.
yeah, that's really the way to do it though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so friendly, it's pretty user friendly once you get used to it, and then it's so simple to make a new VM. Plus, you can
yeah,
do like a snapshot, you can save it, back it up locally. Then you can actually have a Proxmox backup server, and then you can save it, off-site. And so and it's quick. If something happens, you just bring in the image and really just reload the image up, and you're back running without any trouble. So. Yeah, that's definitely the way to go. I think it's as I mentioned the Home Assistant Green earlier. Oh yeah, it looks like Super's on Acer Aspire.
yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, so the green is great because it's a plug and play device. Like it's super. You don't have. If you're not as technical, it's still a great way to get into Home Assistant. Like my grandparents, or my friends or family, like that's what if they're not technical, that's what I'll recommend. Like, here's a green, super easy, plug it in, get started. So, and they've done such a great job with the dashboards. The dashboard has gotten so much easier to maintain and so much easier you can make them look incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, some of those new automatic dashboards are pretty cool. I don't know if you've had a look at them, where it's
Yeah.
got like divided up into different rooms and that sort of stuff. It actually
Yeah.
works really well, eh?
Yeah. They're pulling in devices that are already in those areas, and it's pretty smart, which is nice. Like entities that it's actually pulling in. And then I'm sure you've seen there's a lot of people are using AI. They're allowing Claude or other, AI uh, companies to actually kind of get into their Home Assistant and help them run it. And it's just crazy the automations and the dashboards, and it's wild what people have been able to do. And then like running local LLMs, like running their own local voice, like AI, like Olama or something on the voice preview edition is really cool.
So, can you give us any sort of a hint as to what the first device is that you're going to be building with Home Assistant?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we were talking about it in Discord. We were talking with Paulus, and he was like, "Tell the world." So I guess yeah, it's not like the cat's kind of out of the bag, but so the first device we're going to be making is it's going to be an ESP Home starter kit. So
Oh,
it's going to come with, again, we were talking about being stewards of ESP Home and growing it and making it more of like a household name and just showing people the power of it and show people how easy it is. Maybe start a company based on it, of making devices. So it's going to be an ESP Home starter kit. It's going to have a dev board, and that dev board will then be able to connect to multiple, I think 4 sensors is our plan. So it'll have 4 sensors that you can tinker with and build. It'll be pretty simple. The way we're setting up, we kind of want it to be like Legos. We don't want there to be any soldering. This is going to be a very like basic starter kit. But the cool thing is that after you build the sensor, like it's going to be usable. You can actually like use it in your home, and so you'll have there's 4 different sensors we're looking at, motion and like lights and buttons and sounds and like temperature and humidity are kind of like the big ones that people usually like. So we're trying to focus on those. But then again, if there's something else that if you have an idea, please come to our Discord and let us know. We have a whole ESP Home Starter Kit channel. Um, but yeah, so it's been fantastic because we've been working closely with the OHF team, and they're just they're fantastic. They're just great at what they do, have awesome ideas, and so yeah, we're just really excited for the kit. And like I said, we're trying to help. We get a lot of questions. People, dads and moms, brothers, sisters, everybody, grandparents. They're like, I want to get into like hardware. Like I want to get into tinkering. Like but does Home Assistant offer anything that for me, or like is there anything I can get use? We've had questions. We get questions all the time, and so yeah, hopefully here soon. Hopefully, you know, in the next couple months or so, we may be having a product here. But it's so fun just working with the community and and making stuff that they want. It's so nice.
I think that is an absolutely awesome idea, Justin, because certainly it's just going to take away the fear that people have got, as you say, of
Yeah.
soldering and of
Yep.
you know trying to do stuff with hardwired, sort of electronic devices, and they've just
Yep.
got that big fear of it. So I think what you're talking about is an absolutely fantastic idea because it'll take the fear away and let people realize that, well, this is actually not as difficult as what you believe. So,
Yeah.
and I see there Super is saying that he's just updated recently his Home Assistant voice and that it's now
Yes.
taking 1 second to respond. Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing.
And they've also recently released SendSpin. I'm sure you've seen
Yeah.
Marcel and the music assistant team have been doing a ton of work. SendSpin's
Yes.
like their new music assistant protocol that allows you to do like multicasting and like higher quality audio. Because then we had talked to you, but we were looking at kind of maybe doing a speaker, like ESPN based
Mm.
speaker, but we were having some trouble with like low quality and you couldn't like multicast. But it looks like they've kind of fixed that issue, that issue now, and or just like lack of um, like feature. But so that's really exciting to see. And then Brad actually, I think you've talked to him.
Yep.
He was on the live stream.
Yep.
His satellite one's looking really nice, and he just released an enclosure you can buy for it, and it looks really good. It's got a good speaker in it, some tweeters, and of course he's using um, it's using like a similar AI like voice assistant that's all local, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I see if you look at his website, he talks about his next project actually building a local AI box to actually
Yes.
run Olama or whatever it is on your local system. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, I recently tried a project with Olama and there's a guy out of Europe that did a tutorial recently where he's got created an add-on for Olama. I don't know if you've seen that.
Hmm.
But when I
In
ran
Europe,
it and I
this
tried to
is
run the local model, it literally just crashed my system.
was it a content creator
Yeah, one
like
of the
one of the bigger
content creators.
guys?
Yeah.
Was it Lewis from Everything,
No, it's not Lewis. It's
or
a
was
it's a
it
European guy. I
was it
can't remember.
Andres, the bearded um bearded
Bearded
tinker?
Tinker? No, it's not him. It's another one.
The guy from the Netherlands, Smart Home Junkie, that guy?
No, it's another
No.
one. I'm really
There's
trying to think what his name is now.
Mark Watt Tech is also he's from the UK. He's done
He's
some
UK. No, it's another guy.
okay. There's a lot of good
Someone
ones
else.
out there. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
That was one of the cool things at CES. We
Mhm.
finally, of course, it was a bummer you weren't there, but
Oh, no.
eventually we'd like to, get to meet you. But we got to meet Reed from Smart Home Solver,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
which is awesome because he's been fantastic and he's been a huge help to us. And
Mhm.
we got to see Paul Hibbert again. We saw him in September in Berlin.
Mhm.
He was at CES, and of course, we're big fans of the HomeTech.fm podcast guys. So
Yeah.
TJ and Seth and Gavin. It was really nice. We had met TJ before at the Columbus Community, Home Assistant Community Day, but it was really nice to meet Seth and Gavin. And then TJ brought his wife Nicole, and it was just such a good time. We hung out with them, well, most nights. And then who else? We got to meet Josh from Josh's like Smart Home, and Peter from like the DIY like Smart Home guy. There's tons of people, even like the people from Linus Tech Tips and like
Oh, yeah.
Jake, and then Alex and Andy from like Zip Tie Tech, and Jake from his channel, Jaka, and then or Jakku. Yeah, I forget how he pronounces it, but that was really. It was just that's one of the best parts is we of going to CS is the Home Assistant community meetup. So you've got just normal community members, but then you have freaking Paulus's there. So
I know.
just like hanging out with everybody, and it's just so cool. Miranda's the partnership manager; she was there. Ben, he's one of the I think he was one of the founders or like
Mhm.
co-founders of Nabu Casa. He was there. It's just so nice to just see everybody and just like be around a lot of like-minded people and just talk about how awesome Home Assistant is, and the OHF and like what they're doing, and for people. And we've joked before, it's like the resistance. We're going up against Google and Amazon and all these big guys who I bet they wish they could buy Home Assistant and then just
Yeah.
axe it. And but Paulus, I mean, how amazing is it that he donated Home Assistant to a
Oh,
Swiss foundation so it can never be bought or sold? So it's just like that's incredible.
that
So, but yeah,
is literally incredible, Justin. And this,
yep,
I was actually blown away when I read that whole story because,
yeah,
I mean, you just look at, look at some of the other companies. Yeah, it's just all of these small, it's a typical startup, isn't it? Startup company, they start doing well, and a big player just buys them out, and then all of a
yep,
sudden you're just getting charged for everything, and
yep,
there's just no open source freedom anymore. So yeah, it's
nope,
absolutely fantastic, and I
yep.
couldn't believe it. I actually went on Discord now about an hour ago while I was waiting for this live stream, and I couldn't believe they're actually holding like a little meeting there that I joined in with Frank and Missy and a whole lot of them. It was
Yeah.
so cool. It's the first time I've actually chatted to them one on one.
Did they have like a release party today? Maybe I totally
No,
missed it.
it
I
wasn't a
was,
release party. It was just
it
like
was
it was just a voice chat thing on their Discord channel.
really okay.
So I don't know if they do that on a
Huh.
regular basis or what, but
Yeah, they do so after they do like a live stream
mm,
because ESP Home, I think both yeah they had a release party for Home Assistant, but ESP Home just released a new version as well. They'll have like an after party in Discord where you can ask questions to them.
mm,
Paulus and Frank and Marcel and Missy and J Lo and Guy and all them are there hanging out, and you can ask questions after the live stream. But yeah, no, I mean you've seen how incredible they are. Like I said, it just feels so good to be kind of part of the family and just kind of be working towards the same goal of private, free smart homes. Like I don't know why it seems so. I don't know. It seems so. I don't know why it seems so foreign to a lot of like the general users. It's like, yeah, you don't have to pay a subscription. It doesn't have to be cloud connected. We had all these AWS outages here recently, and people's beds weren't even working because they were cloud connected. So it's just like,
imagine.
you know, but people's Home Assistant, like your local home, like it still works without internet.
Yeah,
So it's just like, hopefully, I think we're putting the work in. We're trying to. You're doing a lot of work and showing people like, hey, like you can have a private home that's still smart, and you don't have to get charged subscriptions, and they're not they don't have to steal your data and sell it. So it's really exciting to kind of be on this side of things and to kind of be kind of growing with it.
yeah. It's honestly, it's for me having this connection to this community has just been one of the best things in my life. Honestly,
Yep.
it's been so incredible. I mean, I literally took 3 weeks leave. All I did was Home Assistant. It was
Yep.
just amazing because I'm just so passionate about it. It's just so
Yeah.
great being able to get out there, connect with guys like you, connect with like people like Super that's out there in my community. I mean,
Yep.
I had a problem the other day with a device. I did a video and someone came up, they actually sent me a video showing how to do something.
Yep.
It's just amazing. Whatever you're looking for out there, there's someone that can help you. And it's yeah, it's for me, it's just it's unbelievable. And as you say, it's spreading into every other part of the home. Like now you've got the whole home audio system coming with Music Assistant now being part of it
Mhm.
as well. And literally it seems to me with ESP32, there's literally nothing you can't connect to.
Yeah.
And you look at the list of devices that are growing on ESP Home at the moment. I mean, I
Yep.
visited a guy that's doing it here in Auckland the other day, and he was showing me how he got some ESP code to control his heat pump. He's got a
Yes.
Mitsubishi, and you can download a flasher for an ESP32 to, and you literally
Yep.
just plug it in. It's got full home system connection.
Yep. Full control. That's the mini splits. I think the Mitsubishi mini
Yeah,
splits are very
that's the one.
popular and like the heat pumps. And like you said, that people make devices that you literally
Mm,
can just plug in or flash, and then now you have full local control. A big one here recently that's
mhm.
been kind of a bummer is that, yes, sure, you saw Chamberlain and the MyQ
Yeah.
where they blocked essentially the RAT GDO and like Connected's like version of the RAT GDO. And so it's just like that anti-consumer, like, I don't know, just is, I don't know. I don't know why you do it. To us, we just it just seems like that's the wrong thing to do. But I couldn't believe that it was like a security update, and now unfortunately they've like essentially bricked all these devices. But the cool thing about the community is, and this people were already doing this before, but they'll just take their garage door opener and they'll have like a little servo, like a little arm, and then they'll automate that because that's super simple. You hook up to a dev board, ESP32, like one of our dev boards, and you can
Yeah.
just automate it. So like you push a button and then it just hits the garage door opener and opens it for you. So that's a good workaround. We did see at CES some companies are making specific devices. I think Third Reality may have had one. They've got some good stuff. I
Yeah,
think
that's
you've
the
got,
one. Yeah.
and then you put it inside of it, and it just has like a little button or like a little pin that comes down and pushes the garage door opener. So there's always like, you know, they'll keep coming out with stuff, and so will we. We'll find ways to work around or find ways to. Another big one was the Google Nest.
Mhm.
You had this perfectly working thermostat, and Google's just like, yeah, we don't want that to work, remotely anymore. It'll work locally, but like you can't control it from your phone or anything like that. And people were putting out bounties. You may have seen this. They were putting out bounties for people to essentially, like hack it or make it still work remotely, and they figured it out. So that's the fun part. Like I said, that's kind of being part of this resistance community that is all about being local and private and not getting your data stolen and charged subscriptions.
It is exactly that. It's just when you get together, this whole community, like what we've done here. There is so much knowledge and brain power in that collective that literally there is nothing you can't do. I mean, literally, what Super's talking about. Yeah, I literally
Yep.
just did a video because I couldn't figure this thing out. Did a video. Someone came in and literally next minute it's all sorted.
Yep.
It's there doesn't seem to be anything that the greater good of the community can't do. Hey,
Yeah, and that's when you were talking about this, that's the beauty of it. I mean, there's literally every corner of the world. I mean, every corner. I mean, every continent. There's uh they think there's Home Assistant mods that are like that go to Antarctica for,
yeah,
like research, and they have Home Assistant running down there. And so it's just like the friends and the just the partners, the people, the community that we've met, like everywhere we've gone is it's really humbling. It just feels so good to be a part of it. And it's just so fun to have friends like
I
in New
know.
Zealand, friends in the Netherlands, friends, in Asia and everywhere. So it's just so cool to just be a part of that community. Like you said, it's like the most fun that you've had or are still having,
Yeah,
interacting with this community and doing all these cool things.
I know. And I was looking recently at your list of interest, devices that you're thinking of building and that you're getting feedback from people. And I mean, you've got some incredible stuff on there. Hey, I mean, you've got the e-ink screens, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Have you looked further into that?
Yeah, we've been looking into e-ink. We actually have some boards in.
Mm.
We've been testing with e-ink and colored e-ink, and which is there's some pretty good products out there. And people, the biggest I think hurdle to the e-inks were
Mm.
making dashboards. It's still kind of you still have some trouble, but there is actually a really cool ESP Home version that someone made that's almost like drag and drop.
Oh,
And so
really?
that's really made it a much easier to make e-ink dashboards. But yeah, e-ink is big. Just like a tablets, like wall tablets are big. And everybody wants PoE, which is great because I love
Mm.
PoE. I think PoE is fantastic. You just run one cable, power, data, done. Hardwired,
Yeah.
super fast, super strong connection. Um, I'm sure you saw, but like I mentioned earlier, but like everybody was asking about PoE for the Navo Casa products, and so like now anytime they release a product or like re-release a product, or we always joke with Frank, and we're like, does it have PoE? Just as a because they say like their PoE is um they're like a minority, but they are
Mm.
like very very vocal,
Yeah.
and so we have the R Pro one, which is a PoE millimeter wave sensor, And
Yeah, I've played with that.
yeah, and so people have responded very well to that. They really like that it can be, mounted in a gang box or ceiling mounted, or it can just sit on your desk. And it's a dual millimeter wave sensor, but the PoE is just so nice. Again, like just one cable and you're done.
So
So
just looping back to those e-ink screens, have you
yeah,
seen that add-on called Puppet? Have you tried that?
that's I think actually that's made by Paulus, I think, right? Didn't
Oh,
Paulus do
okay.
that? I think it was. I could be wrong, but I feel like Paulus is the one that, like, Super might know. I'm pretty sure
So
Paulus made that.
So I managed to get Puppet running, and what Puppet does, it basically takes a snapshot of your Home Assistant dashboard, and then it creates a PDF from that, and then it shares that PDF onto the e-ink screen. But the
Yes.
weird thing, I was getting it work, but it would only work for about 7 hours, and then the add-on would crash for some reason. So I must
Really?
actually try that again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paulus is actually the one who made that or is a big
Oh,
contributor to that. So that, again, the
cool.
founder of Home Assistant, still doing really cool things.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just like on a beach somewhere or on a yacht or anything. He's actually, every day talking, oh, like we should do this, we need to do this, like let's do this, like just super involved. It's just again, just really cool to see like, the main like president, like the main founder, still that passionate about it.
Yeah, he seems like a super awesome guy. Hey, I mean, you just look at him when he runs those State of the Nations and that. Hey, it's just,
Yeah.
and I think they're doing a great job, hey, with sort of sharing with the community what's going on.
Yep.
And yeah, for me, it's really fun to see. And I mean, they must have quite a few employees now, hey?
They do. Yeah. I think they're up to like 60 or 70 employees that work for the Open Home
Wow.
Foundation,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And so like hopefully, Nabo Casa also has their own employees, which is
Mhm.
awesome. And then, hopefully it will help grow not only our team, but with the profit from the device, the ESPM device that we make together with the profits from that, they're wanting, hopefully going to be hiring 60, 70 more people. So
Wow.
yeah, really excited about that. The State of the Open Home,
Mhm.
really cool that they do that. Like you said, this year I think they have. I think they've announced it already,
Mhm.
but it's going to be in the Netherlands in
Yeah.
April. It's going to be in I think Utrecht, and I think they're going to have a live audience, so you can actually buy tickets and you can come watch the State of the Open Home with.
That would be so
I
cool.
forget how many tickets they're going to have,
Yeah.
but it would definitely, if you're in that area in April, like you should definitely see about getting a ticket. I don't think you can buy tickets yet,
Mhm.
um, but I know they're very excited about it, and we are as well because it's just like you said, it's just great for them to keep the community informed and say like, here's what we're working on, here's the vision, here's what we want to do, and then they just keep you know doing the right thing, and it just feels so good, just to see a bigger like foundation and like even Nabokasa just like doing the right thing, helping people out.
So, as far as you know, we were talking earlier, you were saying if we're going to have another one of those sort of worldwide Home Assistant get together days, you were going to
Yeah.
give away some sensors. Do you
Yep.
know if they've got one planned for this year?
Yeah, so they'll definitely be doing another community day. I
Mm.
don't know if they have the date for it yet.
Mm.
There is a website. They host their own website that you can go to. It's just like Home Assistant like meetups, and they have a list of where meetups are around the world, and you can sign up for those meetups. So like I think there's a big one happening in Germany in
Mm.
February. Um, and there's other smaller ones that are sponsored typically by like content creators like yourself or companies like us, who like will sponsor the event, or just people who are just very passionate in the community. You can sponsor your own little event. You just reach out to Missy, I think. I'm pretty sure Missy, and she's the community manager. And you just say, hey, I want to host like an official like Home Assistant meetup. And so, but you kind of went through it with the community day,
Yeah.
but Yeah, they'll be doing another one for sure because it was such a big hit. I mean, they had, I forget, it was so cool because you guys are in the future right now. It's like tomorrow there. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's the
Saturday.
24th.
Yeah.
It's Saturday. It's Friday. It's still
Yeah.
Friday, like 4 p.m. here, 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's like it was really cool because there were homelessness community days happening in like yours may have been one of the first ones,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah. I think it
Auckland
was.
and in Australia. And then the whole day you saw people posting pictures from the community meetups all the way through until like the next day. So it's just like this
Yeah.
incredible event, that was just again just kind of showcased this incredible community that's all over the world. But yeah, I definitely can't wait for the next one, but they'll
Yeah.
definitely be
Yeah.
doing it again.
But you know what I really love about your census, one of the best things that I think you've included that no one else has really done is that little piezo buzzer.
Yes.
Yeah, to me that thing is fantastic. What I do with mine is I've got a rear link camera at the front of my house, and I've drawn one of those lines, where you've got the line crossing barrier,
Yeah, like a
so that
break
when
line. Yep.
someone crosses a line, because it makes it much more sort of accurate as to when it goes off. You don't get false alarms. So the moment that goes off, then I set off a song going on my little pizza buzzer.
What
And
song
it's
do you
just so
play?
loud, I can hear it in the whole house.
Yeah. What song do you play?
I think it's Old Lang Syne. It's one of the
Oh,
first
okay.
ones I loaded up there, so
All
it's
right.
just stayed on there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's incredibly powerful because a lot of devices have lights like RGB
Mm.
LEDs, and
Yeah.
sometimes all of the ones that we put on there are addressable, so you can make it any color you want. That
Mm.
was like one of the first automations I did when I got, when I still have MSR ones in our house, the very first
Mm.
sensor we made. Trash night.
Yeah.
They turn green. For cycling night, they turn blue, or whatever else. You can use it. Air quality's bad. They turn yellow, green, yellow, red, or yellow, or whatever. It's just so cool to have not only the visual, but like the piezo buzzer, like you said. Like we have a buzzer in our workshop. If we're at our 3D printing room, if someone hits any of our doorbells, it plays like the Mario theme, uh, like around the piezo buzzers in our workshop, which is really cool. And it's just like a great. Not only do you get the visual notifications, you get audible as well, and they're just fun to play with. I think you got one of our H2s, one of our ornaments, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I've
The
got both.
holiday
Yeah, the
ornament.
first one and the second one, yeah.
I'm sorry for the loud tinkly noises, but I have one
That's
right
all
here,
right.
but
It's
I
got
was
a
gonna
bit of
show it off, but
ASMR.
yeah. But I think yeah. So Simon, you're familiar with it, but so we were talking about all this practical stuff that we make. But so last year we were like, let's make something fun. And so we made a Christmas tree that has an ESP32 on it and tons of LEDs, piezo buzzer, and it has like a basic firmware where you could just give it to like your grandma or anybody, and they would hit the button once or twice or three times, and it would play three different songs and light up. And 100% of the profit of it went to a local charity here in Lexington, Kentucky, a couple of charities here in Lexington, Kentucky. And this year we made a snowflake. And so kind of similar thing. It has an ESP32C6. So really, I guess this could be Zigbee and this could be
Yeah.
Thread as well. So, but this played four songs this year. Last year we raised around $3,800. And then this year we raised around $4,200. So it was great to just kind of give back. And we actually supported the Open Home Foundation. We made a donation to them this year, which is cool because again, we wouldn't be a company without them. But we still have some available if people want to buy them. It is an annual thing, so like that's it. Like we won't make this again. Like last year, the Christmas tree, it's kind of like a collectible.
Yeah,
So
collector.
we won't make the Christmas tree again, and now we won't make the snowflake again. So like next year, or this year, I guess rather, not sure what we're gonna make, but we'll be taking votes here soon. I think people said that they wanted Santa's like Santa Claus, his sleigh, and like all nine reindeer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we were thinking about like it would take us like a decade to do like one reindeer a year, and then finally get to like Santa or whatever. But so we'll see. We'll kind of take some. We'll do a poll and see take some feedback and see what people want this year. But that's one of the other fun things, like we were talking about with just the power of the ESP chip. Like you can do real, like commercial, industrial grade sensor, like builds and installs, and then you can make ornaments, that are smart. And again, I think you can flash this with a smart firmware. And this is actually made for ESP Home. This is a works with Home Assistant certified device, and you can use the piezo buzzer and the LEDs for those notifications we were just talking about. And then of course this has a Bluetooth. You can use it as like a Bluetooth proxy as well. So that's really cool to actually have some functionality out of it. It doesn't just have to be put in a box and then only brought out for Christmas or the holidays. You can use it all year round and then throw it on the tree. So, but yeah, just another fun thing. Just showcase the range and the power of ESP Home.
I'm really keen to see when you get the Zigbee going. Please let me know because I'd love to do a
Yeah,
video about converting, yeah, my pump or my button one over to Zigbee. I
yeah.
think people will be really excited about that, Justin.
Yes,
Serious.
they are. When we launched it, they were like, immediately asking for Zigbee, and so we're
Yeah.
like, yeah, like we've got something kind of, we have something again, we have it working. It's in our, you can go to our GitHub and you can go to the button one
Mhm.
repository, and you can actually select the Zigbee version of
Oh, you
like,
can already
and
do
you
it.
can, yeah, so you can install it. It's not like officially out, but
Mhm.
you can flash it yourself if you want.
Oh,
And
cool.
and then of course it's super simple. We have a wiki, Apollo wiki that has guides and like how to flash our devices, how to take them apart, how to add to them. Just you've used it. Hopefully we like it. I think it's great. That's one of the things I feel like you mentioned too is like just having that documentation to help people with the
Yeah.
sensors, like being able. We have full time support. Brandon, aka Smart Home Sellout, is in our
Yeah,
Discord all
he's
the time,
great. Yeah.
always helping, always talking. And then we have like an actual like ticketing system, and you can reach out to us like the co-founders too. We're in there and ask us questions. But yeah, it's just people really like that being able to actually get a hold of people. And we've talked about this, like you can actually like reach out and like talk to us. We're just real people, just having fun, and so we're not like in you know uh, a high rise building, like with no finger on the pulse or anything like that. Like we're literally in the trenches with everybody. So I think people like that, and that's kind of helped us. We were talking earlier about kind of getting this Open Home Foundation partnership, and I think that's kind of helped with that as well. So
So how did you actually get the Zigbee working? Because I see that ESP Home doesn't officially support
yeah,
Zigbee yet.
yeah. No, great question. Because yeah, so OpenThread is now I think supported in ESP Home. So OpenThread is cool. We're going to be working with that after we get Zigbee done because Zigbee's more popular. There's a really cool external component like repository that someone made.
Mhm.
The person's name is LUAR, I think 123. LUAR123, and they've essentially made it to where you can add some YAML to your device, and
Mhm.
it references like your core YAML, and it's automatically kind of pulls in the different um, like entities, like buttons and that sort of thing, and lights into it, and so it was pretty. It wasn't that difficult. It was pretty simple because again, I'm not a classically trained engineer. I'm not I was in the medical field before this, so I've just always been like a tinkerer and a gamer and built computers and stuff. So like it actually was surprisingly pretty simple, and which is exciting because we want to take it to our other devices. Trevor did actually do like a full Zigbee like a actual version. So we have two versions. I don't know if his is like fully committed like and pushed out yet, but like the one that I did that's was fairly simple is out and can be tested. Again, we have to kind of fine tune it though. It uses binary buttons instead of like the events, like the single, double, triple, and hold. So, but it's the binary is so quick, like it is incredibly quick on Wi-Fi even and on Zigbee. So I'm not sure if it is capable of doing events yet, but maybe Trevor's version would be able to do it. But yeah, I'm really excited to get that out. It looks
Super
like
is saying there
super.
he's suggesting that you do a 10 button remote using a C6.
Yeah. So I guess like a TV or like a universal remote. Is that what he's talking? I'm guessing he's kind of referencing there a 10 button remote. Yeah. Yeah. Because then yeah, Bluetooth, Zigbee, and then Thread. I was gonna ask you like how have like your Matter devices been, and how has it been like doing Thread over like Matter over Thread or like Matter over Wi-Fi? Like how's it been for you, Simon? Have you had any new devices you've used or tried?
Yeah, I've got heaps that I've been trying. So um, I've been playing with Matter pretty much since it came out. And originally, Matter over Thread was an absolute disaster. It just did not want to actually connect. The connection was the big problem, and then it wouldn't stay connected.
Yeah.
Then I received quite a few Matter over Wi Fi devices. People like ZemiSmart and that were doing quite a lot of Matter over Wi-Fi devices, and they were honestly rock solid. I had absolutely no problem. And then recently, I've just been testing out a lot of new Matter over Thread devices, some of the stuff from IKEA and stuff.
Okay.
And yep, they've been just connecting fine, and yeah, seem to be working without a hitch. So I think that Thread is developing and with Meta, and that they are starting to get it right. But funny enough, the meeting I was in now with on with Frank and the guys,
Yeah.
Frank doesn't look happy. Eh? He
Yeah.
he says Meta is just an absolute disaster because there's just so many people involved, and it's apparently it's like so complex the way that it actually works that it's very very difficult. Like, you know, for example, with Home Assistant at the moment, you can connect to devices, but you can't actually share them to other networks. So apparently, it's just very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw they just announced the new ESP chip that has like tri-band on it. So like you typically
Really?
your devices can only connect to like 2.4 gigahertz, but I think they have some. I forget
Yeah.
it's like the E22 or something like that. They announced it, but it's gonna have like multiple like Wi-Fi antennas. Yeah, so a home control remote is what he
Mm.
was saying. Okay, yeah, we met actually. You may have seen this, Simon. Oh, what did Lawrence say there?
Lawrence is saying early Meta over Thread was plagued by Nanoleaf and a few other early brands. Ah, okay. So I never tried any Nanoleaf. Have you tried any Nanoleaf?
I haven't. I know the products look fantastic, and
Mm.
I know that I have heard that there were some issues with like their Matter side of things. Devices work great. I think, you know, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, however, but there were some issues with Matter, like you were saying, where you would get it connected and then it would just drop off and then it would just be gone.
So
So
what about these Mujoy Adot A. Lawrence? Welcome, Lawrence, by the way. Great to have you here on the chat with us today. So I'd never heard of those Mujoy A.
yeah, I haven't heard those either,
Yeah, but
but
that's
they're
good to hear
working,
that
which
they
is
say.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
was
then, sorry, carry on.
a car thread devices. Okay, work great. Yep, Kara makes some good stuff. We
Yeah.
saw them. They had a booth, a nice booth there, and I forget they got a guy that we saw in Berlin and a guy that we saw at CES, and uh, they got a great team for sure.
Yeah, I've just got their new lock on the way at the moment, the one that's got the
Yeah,
that can
yep,
communicate with your smartphone.
yeah. It has the wideband on it, so you can just
Yeah.
essentially walk up and open. Yeah, we saw it at CES. It looked great, nice door lock, and I think people are really excited about the wideband, just being able to walk up to it, not have to type in a code or use your finger and biometric lock or anything like that. And so I was going to talk. We're going to go back to the remotes for Super here. There is a really like premium, awesome remote by a company called Unfolded Circle. I don't know
Wow,
if you
never heard
have
of
you
that.
seen this one. Yeah, you
No.
should definitely check it out. The company's called Unfolded Circle. I think one
Mm.
of the founder, one of the guys is from Denmark, and then they have a guy building them in like Germany, and their software guy lives in like Switzerland.
Mm.
But We met him at IFA, and it is like a premium, awesome remote that works. It actually has an ESP like home base
Mhm.
for the remote, and it's PoE powered as well. Yeah, it's a premium product. We got to hold it, and it
Oh,
was absolutely incredible. Like, you know, aluminum. Yeah, that's the unfolded. Yeah, that should be it. Yeah, it's incredible. The touch screen, everything. But they were Home Assistant users, and I think Marcel actually said he had ordered one too. But I think I saw Reed did a video on maybe you did too, Simon, on a smart remote. I forget what the brand was, but there seems like there's a few out there, a few decent options. Because I know everybody liked the LG Harmony, but then I think
yeah, I've
they,
still got a Harmony, believe it or not. I
yeah,
bought one for $10 the other day off
yeah,
Facebook Marketplace, and I still use it in my home audio system. It's got the little screen. You can still download the codes. Can you believe it?
yeah. I mean, I think didn't they like they're killing it though, or it's like
Oh,
they've been getting rid of it or like going away from it. But so people like Gavin from the Home Tech FM
yeah.
podcast, he is a big LG Harmony Harmony remote guy. He
Mm.
has like I think he has like 8 backups. He's like anytime
Wow.
he sees them like on
Buying them all up.
he just buys them up and has them laying around just in case. But I could totally forgot to say it. We saw Phil and Rohan from the Home Assistant podcast.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome guys. Phil, of course, is in your neck of the woods down there in Australia, and then close enough. And then Rohan's actually funny. He lives like
Mm,
10 minutes from Gavin and up in Canada. They're both in like Toronto area in Ontario.
mm.
And so it was just so awesome seeing them because they're doing, I mean, the podcast is fantastic. They're doing, you've been on it, I think, a few times, or you were
I
on it
have.
a
Yep.
like a
Yep. I've
while
been on
ago.
once. Yeah.
And they do such great work. And then I think they're even sponsored by Nabukasa, and then Zeus as well sponsors them, which is awesome. But yeah, we got to see them at CES, and it was just the anytime I get to see those guys and the home tech guys, it's always a good time for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. So Lawrence is saying that Hue Essential Bulbs can do Thread, but he keeps them on Zigbee.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure Zigbee is pretty well established and pretty secure and safe, and so
And apparently OnViz
on
Tech
this tech.
makes a
Okay.
Matter over Thread smart plug.
Hmm. Yeah, I had a have you heard of the brand Nuki? Nuki? They make smart locks. They were big in
No.
Europe,
Oh, yes, yes. Those are
but
those super
they're
small ones that like hide, it looks like a normal lock.
yeah, so they're
Yeah.
I've got one here installed with their keypad. I met some of the Nuki people actually with the Homey team when we were in Berlin at IFA at IFA, and um got to talking with them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like our lock's going to be available in the U.S." And I was like, "I'll give it, I'll try it out." And it's been fantastic. It's been rock solid. I have it on Matter, thread over Matter. It's been a great device. So definitely recommend that one. I'm interested to see the Akara one. Oh, Zane, look,
You've got a
he's
fan
got
here.
he's got a pump one. Yeah. So yeah, the
What are
pump
you
one.
using it for, Zane? Tell us.
Yeah. That's the coolest part. We make this and we're like, oh, you can water your plant. It'll automatically water your plants for you. And then people come out and say, oh, I'm using it to like pump vinegar in my air conditioner, like drain line, so that it doesn't get like a biofilm and get clogged and like back up. They're
Yeah.
just like, what? What are people like, doing like you doing with these things? And so it's you have an idea and like you think you know what people are going to use it for, and then they come out of left field and they do all these really cool things.
So Lawrence is saying he's got a Tuyo. I don't know if that's Tuyo. Was Tuyo a smart button? Not sure.
Yeah,
That is Thread, but constantly drops and fails.
yeah. I there's been a lot of talk about Matter. Another good person you should probably talk to him too, Simon.
Mm.
His name is David. I think David Drager. He's from Matter Alpha.
Yeah.
He's actually was one of the like original founders of XDA developers, which did a lot of guides back when people were like jailbreaking iPhones and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of hacking their phones or rooting their phones. But Matter Alpha does they have they do a lot of good articles and got to see David at CES as well. He's here in the States.
Meta.
Yeah, Matter Alpha. They have write a lot of cool, just smart home stories and articles, and they're up to date on everything because the
Oh,
CSA.
cool.
Yeah, Matter Alpha is great. Definitely take a look. The CSA last year it was actually really cool with Matter. Before you used to have to get certified with like Apple and
Mm-hmm.
Google and Samsung and everybody and Amazon. But now if you just get certified with the CSA, it automatically counts for like all of them. So
Ah.
which is nice. But so he knows a lot of people at like the CSA and the so yeah, great contact to have. Um, so it looks like Zane's using it to fill his hydroponics while traveling. So
That's a
perfect.
cool one.
That's basically exactly like what we were hoping people would use it for. Because it's food safe. If you can use it to fill your fish tank, you can use it to fill like your coffee machine. You can use it to put clean water into your like robot vacuum or like to take the dirty water out. And again, like I said, the people are using it with their air conditioners. Just very interesting stuff. Yeah, I appreciate the support, Zane. That's awesome to hear that you're using it and liking it.
So some of those other items that you've got on the list, what are gaining a lot of traction? What are people requesting on that list? What are the popular ones?
Yeah, so like you kind of touched on it already. E-ink is a big one.
Mm.
Like a PoE wall tablet is a big one.
Ah, okay.
Um, Thermostats are actually requested quite a bit too. A, a local thermostat that just works, because they're pretty basic. They're just
Mm.
wires and essentially relays. They just either turn on or off. You know, so there's some decent options, but I think Akara just came out with some as well. But so thermostats, like a local thermostat, because most of them you have to make an account. You have to, like log in,
Mm.
and then it's cloud connected. You can get into Home Assistant and stuff, but a lot of times it can be a little bit more difficult. So like thermostats, and then a lot of people like NFC, like an NFC reader and like an IR blaster.
I think an
Uh,
NFC reader would be cool because I know Home Assistant did one years ago, but they seem to, I don't know, discontinue it for some reason.
yeah,
Because funny enough, I tried to build an NFC reader the other day and I actually couldn't get it working for some reason or another.
yeah, it's actually kind of tough.
Yeah.
And I think we talked to you, like we were kind of focusing on just doing an NFC reader because I think Home Assistant has like, all the certifications, or they have everything that they can work with like NFC very easily. It's like, it's fully supported. But our button one, if you saw, the plan is, we've done some testing with e-ink displays, OLED displays, with an NFC reader, as well as like a knob, like a rotary knob, and you can like turn the volume up or down and like use it as a button as well. But we have attachments that are planned for the button itself. So, right now it has the four buttons and has the LEDs and everything on it, but we're hoping to here eventually have, once we finish the development, have like an NFC reader attached to your button one. So, because that, a lot of times people are going to have it by their front door or their nightstand. I think you've seen those. They make those small like circles that have like a little NFC. They're
Mm.
NFC capable. You just slide your phone over it or whatever, and then
Yeah.
it sets off that automation. So not only having a physical button, but something like that, I think together would be like a pretty good option for a smart home.
So Lawrence is saying, like the old X10 thermostats,
Yes.
no reason to have cloud, just like it matter.
Yep. So Lawrence knows exactly. X10 is an old like
That's way back,
home
eh?
automation way back. Yeah. I think there's another one that's still kind of around called KNX that we got to talk to
Yeah.
those guys in Germany. KNX seems to be still pretty big. but it's like everything's hardwired. But they say like once they install it, they don't want to hear from you for like 5 years or 30 years. It's just like they install it and then it's done. Kind of like with the X10 stuff. So
So welcome, Tom. Tom is saying everyone's shocked about the Nest thermostat stopping because they shut the servers down.
yep.
So yeah, things like that are really, really concerning people, eh?
Yeah, so it's like you have this device that I bought that works perfectly fine. It still works perfectly fine. And then goes like, yeah, we don't want to pay the server fee or like we don't want to support that anymore. So okay, it doesn't work anymore. You know, again, I think that you could still use it locally. But one of the beauties and like one of the the reasons you bought that was so that you could change the temperature while you're out, or turn it up or down and to preheat the home or turn the cool it down. So and then they take that function away. Um, I don't know why these companies don't. So like if they're going out of business, they could easily open source
Yeah.
the hardware. They could easily open source the software so that people could still continue to use it. And I think that's one of the beauties of like working with Home Assistant and like you know using ESP Home and like again all of our code is open source. Like if anything was to happen to us, you guys could literally do whatever you wanted with our sensors. You could literally flash an entirely different company's firmware on it and use it. And so it's just like having that capability is huge. And again, I don't know why they're you know taking functionality away and why they're not open sourcing products that are just going to go to the dump.
Exactly. I mean, at least if they used a generic ESP32, people could go and flash their own software onto there, you know? So
Yep.
it's so easy to make it available, but for some reason or other, people still, these big companies want to just lock everything down. And then the moment they're tired of it or they're not making money, just kill all those
Right
devices.
away.
It's just dreadful, eh?
Mhm. Yep, it is. But yeah,
So,
Tom's comment is exactly like why people are wanting like a thermostat and want local devices, totally local.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, it's been really awesome catching up today. I'm not sure what your time is looking like. If you've got any other things that you want to tell us about or any other news you can share with us. Oh, wait, Tom, we've got another comment here from Tom.
All right,
Let's
Tom,
just see what he's
bring it
saying
on.
here. We got Lawrence is saying,
Okay.
I'd like to set up and added 25-year-old Z-Wave devices long after Intermatic stopped making Z-Wave products. Open protocol better than just something that sits local. Something that's
Yeah,
just Home Assistant. Yeah.
I think Z-Wave, they're like open source now, or it's like an open protocol. And like you said, it's been around for well over 20 years, and the Z-Wave long range is incredible. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but the ZWA2 is a
Mhm.
pretty,
It's a
you know,
beast.
uh, it's a pretty good size, and the distance that I think you could get out of that thing is wild. I think they had somebody jumping out of a plane,
Mhm.
and it was like it was tracking them the whole way down to the ground. They're a skydiver on Z-Wave. So I think they did testing at the Z-Wave Alliance Summit in
Yeah.
San Diego last year and at the end of last year. And I think they said it was like line of sight was like 5 or 7 miles, 5 or 7 miles for like a Z-Wave device, which is crazy because then you're kind of getting into like LoRa, which is another cool protocol. You get because that's pretty well known for its long distance.
Yeah. I played with Laura. Yeah.
But it just yeah, that's just incredible.
So Tom is saying because of Home Assistant, he discovered that his air conditioner, Dicon, having a not local API. Can you
Yeah,
believe it?
exactly. Yeah, I know exactly. So yeah, I mean you get it from like the business side of things, but like the community is I don't know. People are like, oh, like they've told us like when we first started, like why is everything open source? They're like, you're not going to make any money. Like you're not going to like your company's going to fail. Like you can't do this. Like you can't make it. Like they're just going to like make their own thing and stuff. And we're just like, no, like the community understands, they know, like, and they appreciate that it's open source. Like they appreciate that they can tinker, and then that kind of like, builds like trust. It's like, here's this thing that we make, and you can do whatever you want with it, and make it yourself if you want. So I think that's huge. And again, we've talked about so much, but I do not know why, these companies are making the decisions they are. I mean, I know why, because of money, but it's like why, like we're definitely more in the camp of people over profits, so not profit over people. So, but again, that's part of the resistance, and I'm just glad to be in it with you, Simon, and just can't wait for. It's been an awesome like 2.5 years. Can't wait until the partnership is with the Open Home Foundation is it's a 10-year partnership too, which is pretty
Wow.
incredible. So yeah, they're
That's
like, "You guys ready?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go." They're like, "It's 10 years." We're like, "Okay, perfect, let's go." Because we talk about we're in it because we like it. We
mm.
weren't building the company to sell it. This is like what we want to do. So like we're here and like just cannot wait to keep growing with you in the future.
Lawrence is saying so that in 2050 you can become a software hardware engineer and
Yeah.
reprogram the open source sensor.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, it just what I really like about your guys' stuff is that yeah, it's as you say, it's all simple to look at, to open up, and to actually modify it if you want to. You pull it apart. You're supplying the code for your, people can download. They can print their own cases. They can do different
Yep.
colors. They can go and add on additional sensors in there. So it's actually, and that's what I really like about this new thing that you're playing, because from what I can see, when Home Assistant launches hardware, man, people just buy it in crazy numbers. So
Hmm.
the idea of putting together a DIY kit to get people started on ESP home and sensors and projects, man, I think it'll be massive, eh?
Yeah. We're very excited. And again, the really cool thing is we wanted to be something that you can make, and then it wasn't something that like sat in a box. It's like something that you can
Mm.
actually use in Home Assistant, and they can actually use it in your home. Like, oh, I built this and I'm actually using it in automations, or I'm using it to get data, so just from my home, from my smart home. So we wanted to make sure that it was fun. You learned a little bit, still easy, but then you also got to actually use the product. You actually got to use, the dead board and the sensor you built in your home. So yeah, really excited to see the community response. And again, please get in our Discord, help us make it better. And that's why we're here. So please give us feedback. Let us know what sensors you want in it. So yeah, we're really excited for that to get released.
So Zane is just saying, so amazed about the integration between Apollo and Homey. Tell us
Yeah,
about
so
that.
we are Homey partners as well. We're close with Homey. We're really close with Abba. He's the partnership manager, and we've met Stefan and Emil, the founders, and Jasper, like their whole crew. We actually visited the Homey office in the Netherlands when we were there in September, and it was just awesome being with them and hearing. It's funny because like Paulus and Emil, so Emil is one of the
Hmm.
founders of Homey, and Paulus is one, the founder of Home Assistant.
Hmm.
They actually went to university together, went to
Oh,
college
really?
together at the same time. And then I can't pronounce it correctly because they do like they do like the Dutch, they do like almost like a I don't know how, like a scratch, kind of like a like inch today, like they do like a. So like they were in school in today. I can't really pronounce it right, but so just a kind of a fun story. But yeah, Homey's a great platform. It's kind of in between Home Assistant and Google Home
Yeah,
and Amazon.
yeah.
It's they just announced that you can self-host it now as well.
I see that.
So they
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
I think we sent you a Homey Pro and
I've
a
got
few
a
other.
Homey Pro. Yeah.
So, and it's cool because it's great device. It's got Z-Wave and Zigbee and Mat Thread and everything already in it, and it's just done. They have a PoE like adapter you can use to plug it in, and yeah, it works great. And it's just kind of plug and play. Their dashboards look really nice. It's very user friendly. It's a little bit easier to use than Home Assistant, I would say.
In
But
in some ways and not in others, I would
yeah,
say, to be honest.
yeah,
What I found tricky with Homey was the fact that I couldn't just plug it in; it would see my devices already like Home Assistant. You actually had to have
Find
the
the app.
actual app for each individual
Yeah.
device. So I found that a bit difficult. But what impressed me with them is that they seem to have got Zigbee and Thread working on one radio at the same time, and I've tested it; it
Yes.
does work.
Yeah. So they've got Z-Wave, Zigbee,
Mm.
Thread, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I think they even have like
433 megahertz.
433. Yep, megahertz
Yeah.
exactly. Like they've got it all in that one device. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's also local. And so there's no subscription. You can pay for like I think better dashboard. There's like you can pay like a monthly fee, or you can just buy like a lifetime license, and then that's it. You're done. But oh yeah, it looks like Lawrence was doing a self-hosted trial of Homey. I think it's only like, yep, yeah. So I said Homey is once you have the right apps and everything, it works very well. Because I have that's the cool thing with our Apollo devices is that you can have them in Home Assistant, and then you can also have them in Homey simultaneously at the same time. So that's really cool. And I think both of them have integrations. So like for the other. So like Homey has a Home Assistant like app or integration, and then Home Assistant has a Homey like integration. Um, uh, Dino actually is I'm not sure if you've talked with Dino or not. He's Smart Home Scene has a really awesome blog. Smart
Mhm.
Home Scene does very in-depth, awesome reviews. It was awesome because him and Abba, the partnership manager, they came to the Home Assistant meetup. So like they all know each other, and it's not like we're kind of like working together against again like in this resistance against Google and Amazon and them. But yeah, they're awesome guys over there. Appreciate them letting us come to their office and hang out with them, and they've been great partners. And they've been because they're of course LG bought them like I think beginning of last year. So
Yeah.
there's like a lot of questions of like what would happen and stuff, but
Mm.
they're still, they're still chugging along and kind of doing their own thing. So yeah, it's nice that they're still again like offering a local option for a smart home.
So Lawrence is saying that he's tried the Matter Bridge add-on. Have you tried that in Home Assistant?
I don't think I've tried I don't think I've tried the Matter Bridge. I have the Open Thread um, like working on my ZBT2. And so I have like my Matter, the Nuki lock, like working through Matter through Matter over Thread through the ZBT2. But I don't know if I'm using the Matter bridge specifically. I'm still kind of newer to Matter, um, but I'm not sure about the bridge. I'll have to look at that.
So Tom's saying 433 used to be big in the Netherlands years ago.
Yes,
Click
yes,
and click on clickate. So it makes sense in adding it.
yeah. Um, I think 423 is pretty big here in the States too.
Mm.
There's a lot of devices that use it. Even like the TPMS, our tire pressure monitoring systems, use like 433, and there's a lot of other, I think, like garage doors. A lot of people or a lot of things use that. So
And it's really
um,
long range, eh?
yeah, I don't know the distance, but yes, it is actually pretty long.
Yeah. Like I've got my weather station runs on 433 and it's never actually lost connection.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like
we have.
right on the other side of my garden.
Do you have the Tempest or like the EcoWit?
Whitboy,
Witboy. Oh, okay.
EcoWit.
Oh, the EcoWit. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yes. Okay.
And I've actually got a new version of the EcoWit on the way now, which has been modified and is being sold by Shelly. I don't know if you've seen that. So
Oh,
they've
I
put a
haven't seen
Zigbee
that.
chip inside it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Shelly makes some great stuff. I mean, they
Yeah.
great relays. I think they have their own like ESP chip that they make with Espresso because they do so many devices.
Oh, really?
So they have like their own like device. But yeah, they're big on Zigbee. How do they do Z-Wave?
They do.
I think
I just tried out their Z-Wave devices. They're
they
really
do
cool.
Z-Wave. Okay. So, and then like speaking of Z-Wave, like Zeus, Agnes,
Hmm.
she's like I think the VP of Zeus or whatever. I think her dad founded the company originally. They got a cool origin story if you want to look at like a fun company, kind of similar to us, like where her dad was just like, um, I guess he was like buying Zwift devices and like selling them and started making his own. And it's still like a family operation, but
Cool.
they are an incredible company. Agnes is an incredible person. Zoos, like their devices are fantastic. I moved into a new home in August, and I had, like I said, I have the Z-Wave devices. I'm using the ZWA2,
Mm.
and all my light switches. I have like 40 some light switches that are all zoos, and they're dimmers, and they have smart bulb mode, and they have different scenes depending on like how many button presses you have, and they're a great company. I think we're talking with them about, because we sell the Z-Wave antenna, but
Yeah, I saw that.
we don't have any Z-Wave devices on our
Mm.
store. We're talking to them about getting some Z-Wave devices on our store, and they're a company. They're in the U.S. as well. They're out of like New Jersey and New York, so it'd be nice to kind of help stick together and help each other out.
Yeah, that's cool. Unfortunately, I looked at the zoo stuff, but unfortunately, they don't make it in the Australia and New Zealand frequency.
Yeah,
So
I
I had
think
to stick with the Shellys.
they have. I don't know if Agnes talked about coming, like going down under towards you guys, but
Mm.
I think they do have some European products. But yeah, I think she had mentioned that, or that was an issue. Even with the ZWA2, I think, and the ZBT2, we had some questions at first because, like you said, the frequency is different. Like
Yeah, but I
what they
see that
allow.
800 allows multi-frequency, so it actually detects when it switches on. It actually detects the local, um, both the frequency and the intensity that it can be broadcasting at. So that seems all automatic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat. I kind of talk, real quick. I was gonna say, we found out that some countries in Europe, the Netherlands, the entire country has a like a LoRa network.
Yeah.
So, like, say if all your cell towers go down,
Hmm.
a Meshtastic is a pretty
Wow.
popular LoRa like device. Meshtastic. So you can, if you have like a buddy or somebody with a Meshtastic device, you can set up a totally private like messaging channel, and you can talk to them over a few miles.
I've got a mesh
Which is
tastic on the way to me.
awesome. Yeah, they're tons of fun. But yes, I was really surprised that some countries, it makes sense because, like, hey, the cell towers go down, or there's like
Yeah.
they have a whole LoRa network to cover the entire country if something was to happen.
Wow. That's cool. Zane is
Ooh.
asking if you got any energy monitors planned.
So I think, Simon, we talked to you early on.
Hmm.
This was like one of the first devices we wanted to make,
Hmm.
was an energy monitoring sensor.
Hmm.
Um, and because I think you can. The Imperia View, I think, is an option. You had to flash it with ESP Home. There were some options, but they were still like some tinkering involved. And we wanted just an easy plug and play um, version of like an energy monitor. We
Hmm.
looked at it. We had the clamps, we had the board, we had everything ready to go. But we were still pretty young at the time, so pretty new. And like the certifications that you need to be able to go into
Yeah,
like a
I'm
breaker
sure.
box and stuff, it's just like a little daunting with UL and other certifications you have to have. So we had it, but we kind of like put it on the back burner. But now that we're growing and hopefully a little bit more comfortable and kind of have more a lay of the land a little bit more, it may bring it back. I don't know. So we'll see if we have one by the end of the year or not. But that is definitely something that is highly requested and that we looked at making.
Oh, we've got a new person on board here, Leb911 from Montreal, Canada. Welcome.
All right, the Great White North,
Yeah.
good old Canada. Yeah, um the Canadians were pretty vocal too. They're like, man, like, I'd love to order your stuff, but like, unfortunately, we just had this imaginary line between the US and Canada. And, to cross the line, you got to pay tons of taxes and
Mm.
customs and stuff. So we have distribution in Canada, which is awesome. And so we're also, I think we're the first like company to sell home assistant devices in country, so in Canada. And we also do sell them in Australia. We have our own distribution in Australia as well. But yes. So, but yeah, love our partners in Canada. Obviously, we're talking about Gavin and Rohan. So both of them have their own. Gavin from the HomeTech.fm podcast and Rohan from the Home Assistant podcast both live in Canada. Um, so hopefully we talked about going up there and maybe seeing them because Gavin wants to do PoE sensors all over his house. So we talked about going over there and maybe doing like a video, doing a collab and being on the podcast again. So yeah, I think did we put you in touch with them, Simon? Right? You talked to
Yeah,
Gavin and TJ.
you did.
Did
Yeah,
they have you?
I
Did
did
they have you
record
on?
an interview with them.
You
Totally.
did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
On
Okay.
their
Okay. Just making sure. I thought.
website. Yeah, on
Okay.
the YouTube channel. Yeah,
Okay. Good. Because I was like, they're awesome guys.
they are.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So, but yeah. So yeah. Thanks again, Leb. I don't know. Hopefully you've heard of us, and but we're right down here in Kentucky, and that's the fun part is like when we travel, we're like, we're from Kentucky, and everybody immediately says Kentucky Fried Chicken. So, because everybody, there's a KFC all over, there's KFCs all over the world. So at least they know where we're from. So,
Uh,
which is cool. But yeah, so
oh, classic, man. That's brilliant, eh? Oh, we're probably going to have to finish up here
I know.
today. It's been really awesome. I want to say thank you for everyone that's contributed here today. Justin, thank you so much for giving us your time. It's been just super awesome hearing about your new alliance with, with Home Assistant and with Paulus and Frank and the team there. It's just, yeah, I'm really excited to see when that device comes out because I think
Yeah,
that's a game changer that
yeah,
people can actually get their hands on something that because I have a lot of people commenting my channel and very few of them build their own ESP devices. So I think by getting them interested in building devices and then buying the Apollo stuff that they can actually modify
yeah,
and take an Apollo, whatever it is, sensor and then add this and that and the next sensor on and build these. Because ESP, I mean, you've got so many different actual pins on there. You could add on,
yep.
yeah, heaps of sensors. There's
Oh
almost
yeah,
unlimited.
it is. Yeah, it's an incredible platform, and the ESPN team, like I said, Jesse and who's in New Zealand actually, and
Yeah.
Keith, and they're doing incredible work. I think they hired another developer too. I think named Jonathan. So just really excited to keep working with them and keep growing it.
Ah, awesome. And Zane, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. It's been wonderful having all of you
Mhm.
guys on board here today. It's always just super awesome. But yeah, thank you so much, eh? And we'll
Yep,
we'll catch up again soon, Justin.
absolutely. Yeah, anytime, anything for you, Simon. Like I said, it's
Ah,
been
mate.
great. It's been
Oh, I
great
appreciate
to you've been with us since the beginning, and it's just great to kind of like grow together and just excited to see what the future holds.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Okay then. Cheerio.
All right, cheers, guys. See you.